Welcome back to the show. Well, sabbaticals are now a top workplace trend, with many Aussies considering a golden gap year.
Sound familiar, Carl?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I've led the way on this, sis.
But before you take off, what do you need to consider? To share some advice, recruitment expert Roxanne Calder joins us live now. Good to see you, Roxanne.
Morning.
So what are the pros and cons here? I mean, I imagine everyone wants one, but actually getting one would be the challenge.
Look, it is hard because they're not as frequent as some of the other benefits. It's probably one of the reasons why I love the sabbatical, because out of all the perks and benefits of the last few years to combat the skills crisis, this one's probably the one that is mutually beneficial for both employer and employee.
There are some amazing workplaces around who encourage people to work from other locations,
Yeah.
but they're few and far between at this
That's
point,
right, yeah.
So how do you even approach it with your workplace?
Well, the first thing is probably that there's two main things that you want to consider. The first is how good you are at your job, because you want to make it easy for your boss to say yes.
Okay, tick.
Hear that?
And the next one is longevity, because if you've got some longevity there in relationships, you've already got the trust factor built. So it's easier to sort of negotiate then.
It is brave to take the plunge as well, though. I mean, you risk perhaps not coming back to a job, right?
Well, that's probably the major con of it, but usually the stats show that most people do come back. And in fact, there's a sabbatical coach that some organisations
Really?
employ to make sure that the transition back is really smooth.
Well, in the current environment too, with there not being a huge workforce out there who aren't looking for a job, I guess that this is an optimal time to do it. So what are the other considerations you need to factor in, you know, in terms of accommodation, you know, how you set yourself up in a new place?
Yeah. So I suppose the budget is the most important. And, you know, before when you were saying, you know, do you combine it with your long service or annual leave? That's one option. And especially if you've got some accrued leave and you can negotiate to maybe have that at half pay, it can make it easier. But to maybe know the long service and annual leave, they're workplace entitlements, whereas the sabbatical is something that you can sort of request to have. But you can rent your house out, you can do lots of those things. Probably it's critical that you do have your budget set up, because you want to be able to take that time and enjoy it, so that so it's successful, and so when you transition back, also it's easier for you to come back to.
Especially if you go to countries where the Aussie dollar doesn't travel so
Smart
well.
play.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
Let's go do
Yeah,
TV
let's do it.
in Rome. after a while.
Arrivederci.
Buongiorno.
Gucci.
Vespa. Thank you so much. Great advice.
Pleasure. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh, my goodness. Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?